Friends, usually I used to come here and there used to be a lecture and send in questions. Then I used to have food with all the people here and then go away. This time Swamiji said there will be no lecture. I was very happy. Question and answer sessions are very, very stimulating. It's a two-way traffic, not one way. And so...
Swami, we change your sound a little bit. It's difficult.
Nearby, yeah. And so I like this kind of two-way traffic, feedback going on all the time through a question-answer session. Everywhere I enjoy this. Hours together in the universities, colleges, private houses also. I was telling just now in San Francisco that I was in Manila just a few days ago, Philippines. There is an International Rice Research Institute, a very prestigious institution. Number of scientists working there. And we had a lecture on science and human values. After the lecture, plenty of questions, clarification. And the questions continued during the tea time, continued during the dinner. So a lot of excitement was there, intellectual and spiritual. And all the scientists who were there, they were unanimous that mere science alone won't do. We need spirituality. These two must go together. That was the great teaching of Swami Vivekananda. So that experience revealed to me that increasing numbers of scientists are turning over to the spiritual view of life. Science will continue dealing with the physical world, but spirituality and science are not exclusive from the Indian point of view. That I stress everywhere. You can be scientific and spiritual. This referred to the sensory level is science, supersensory level is religion. Not supernatural, but supersensory. So that is how all through the world we have these discussions. Here in Berkeley University, 2 years ago, we had a lecture on science and religion. The whole audience concurred with the idea we want science and religion, not only science. So that is the tendency in India itself. More and more scientists are turning in this direction. If the scientific community as a whole become convinced that we need spirituality along with science, that will be a great day for our civilization. So I do hope that time will come. A few scientists may be there swearing by materialism, but increasing numbers are turning to a spiritual view of human life and destiny. In Marxist countries also, when I put forth these ideas, they said, this is beautiful, but don't call it religion. We are allergic to the word religion. Call it philosophy of life. I said, okay, I am prepared for that. Gita teaches you a philosophy of life where the spiritual dimension is emphasized. So we don't call it religion. After all, that is a very poor word for such a profound teaching. So I am seeing all over the world this kind of a convergence of two sciences, physical science and the science of spirituality. That has been the great message of Vedanta from the Upanishads up to our time. Combine these two sciences, sciences of physical nature, science of human nature in depth, then there will be fulfillment all round. That is the preliminary remarks. Or I can also say, I started from India on 3rd April, flew directly from Bombay to Perth in Australia. It was a very long journey, 8 hours, through the Indian Ocean, cutting through South India and Sri Lanka, and straight going to far south in Perth. There I had 2 days. Then we had Adelaide, next station, South Australia capital. There also a lot of devotees are there, Vedanta devotees, Australians as well as Indians. From there to Melbourne, a very active city. Addressed the university there, Deakin University, about 60 miles outside the city, Deakin University. There's an Indology section. The professor is teaching Shankaracharya's philosophy. So he wanted me to get recorded in a cassette a talk on Shankaracharya's philosophy. So he put some questions, he got it recorded, and that he will be giving to every student to study and to discuss. They generally sell these cassettes to students. So that was taken. Then he took a TV of the lecture I gave to the university. From various departments students came. Their religion and peace was the subject. These are the 2 lectures there, then lecture in the public. The next day went to Sydney. Every year I spend 2 weeks in Sydney. Lot of public lectures in houses, and a retreat for 5 days or 9 days for about 40, 50 people living together in some hotel. There we have study, meditation, question and answer session, occasionally a film show. In fact, this particular film which you are to see now, I saw it there. I found it very educative, The Sea of Faith. So they gave me a video. I brought it here. So I requested Swamiji to show, but they found difficulty to combine that kind of frequency in the American frequency. They're all disparate, but somehow they managed to find some common denominator. So I think we are going to have it here after the talk, where a wonderful BBC film on Sea of Faith is called. So in Sydney we had all these meetings, then I went to Armidale, Brisbane and Gold Coast. All these are important towns there. Newcastle, another important town. We had 2 television programs, one all Australian, one limited. Both went off very, very well. That TV video also I shall get at Chicago. They will send it there. It was not ready at that time. It's also very interesting questions, all relating to our modern life and its problems, particularly bringing up children into the fine type of citizens and stable personalities. All these questions came there. They were very happy with the interview and the newspaper interview also. Then I went to Fiji, wonderful island in the South Pacific. There the mayor of Suva, the capital, gave a reception, then 2 other meetings in the town, then university lecture, then addressing all the high school students of the town of Nandi, all the senior students, hall full of them, science and religion. I spoke 1 hour, and very stimulating 1 hour question and answer session. Students were very much fascinated, the scientific approach to the spiritual life. That was my last engagement. Then I returned to Sydney, flew to Manila to Osaka to Tokyo. Tokyo also we had lecture, radio session, all these things we had in Tokyo. From there I came to Seattle, there a public lecture in the ashram, then Portland, and I came here yesterday to San Francisco. Early morning I am going to St. Louis, then to Kansas and to Dallas and to Chicago, Kansas, Detroit, then from there to Boston, Providence, New York, flying to Holland, 24th. There 3 weeks, spiritual retreat. Sometimes 150 people. Great interest. Professors, students, housewives, study the Gita, the Upanishads, questions and answers. Very exciting. Started from 71. Every year it is going on. Tremendous interest, growing, expanding interest is there. And this Vedantic retreat is also a retreat of joy, because there are side shows also along with Vedanta. One such is magic by one of the members who is a good magician. And so Dr. Rama Polderman, he is a doctor but also a great magician, man of big heart, so his magic is really exciting. And he says, I am going to demonstrate the truth of Maya in Vedanta. In the way of talking, he will do that also. So a piece of paper like this, a small thing he will put in the hand, show you, this is all, and my hand is there. Then he will do like this. He will do something, some mantra he will recite, and then he will show the hand. All the tapes begin to flow, colored tapes. First he will flow so much, then it stops. He said, no. Again it will start flowing. By the end of it, the whole platform is full of tapes. I don't know why, how he does it. I said, how do you do it? It is sleight of hand, he will say. That's true. You can produce ashes, doing like this, it comes like that. So all sorts of things he does. So that is one hour every year, Rama's magic, part of Vedanta. That is it. And he takes a glass of milk, gives you to drink. Then he will say, I want to have a piece of silk, but there is no raw material. Only milk is available. So I have to make silk out of milk. So he takes an envelope, puts that milk into that envelope, and keeps that cup there, a glass there. Then he closes the envelope and mantra on that. Then he does like that, a beautiful silk kerchief comes out of that packet. They're all wonderful. Then on the table, he will put a bottle, another bottle, lift it, then another bottle comes here. Lift it, another bottle comes here. Then put it there, another bottle comes here. Then another bottle. Then quickly here, the whole table is full of bottles. Within a minute, the whole table is full of bottles. So like that, Rama's magic. So it's an enjoyable thing. About 150 people, translation into Dutch, because most of them know English, but a few do not know. So translation. So that is in Holland. Then public meetings and household meetings, all this will go on there. Then I fly to Berlin, West Berlin, and I cross the Berlin Gate and go to East Berlin, in the Humboldt University. They allow me to go. I am a very harmless person, and so you carry any dangerous things? No, only Vedantic bombs I carry, I will say. Make fun a little. And then after finishing night I return also, and then we have the weekend retreat, and quite a good interest. Last year I didn't go. I said, no, I'm not interested. No, you must come this year. They have forced me, so I'm going to Berlin. Then West Germany, in Dusseldorf, Mulheim, and Dortmund area. Quite good retreat. People are simply fascinated. We studied the Kathopanishad last year. I cannot convey to you there the tremendous joy. What a wonderful philosophy. How clear, how rational. You can question. That's the beauty of that Kathopanishad there. This year they take Kena Upanishad for study in the course of this weekend retreat. Then I finish all this. That will be June 23rd. From there, Frankfurt, I fly to near Madagascar, this island called Mauritius. There I have to go. It's a long flight, probably 14 or 15 hours flight it is. There I have got 7 days. There is a beautiful ashram also in Mauritius, like Fiji. And then Bombay I return on 3rd July, back to Hyderabad on 3rd July. So that is the 3 months out. This is my holiday, and I take a lot of holiday during these 3 months with 5 engagements a day. So now we can ask any questions. I've got just little 15 minutes, 20 minutes or half an hour. We can add it a little, isn't it? Up to what time questions? 4:45 now. So 20, 25 minutes we can have. Yes. Especially pointed questions. There are 2 types of questions. Blunt question, pointed question. Sharp questions. Sharp questions are better. Yeah.
Maharaj, I have a question. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, devote yourself to me, bow down to me, serve everything to me. I see that in Lord Christ's way of telling my Father, Buddha's way, and also Ramakrishna's way. One of the things I find in this country, they are very eager to make you a member of the system. Some of my mental friends are condemned me. If you don't have a guru, how can you go to heaven? Could you, Maharaj, explain to me what is this guru-disciple relationship. When even Ramakrishna is pointing that your thoughts will be directed towards what are right, I need this help a bit. It's a little personal question. Would you please explain to me that even in the Gita he says, go down to the person who has the knowledge, humble yourself to him, he will explain to you. And I think direct approaches seem to be a much more definite system. I'm a little confused with this guru and disciple. Would you be kind enough to explain to me?
There is no compulsion that you should have a guru. If you feel the need for it, you have a guru, that's all. Absolutely no compulsion. Just like eating. There's no compulsion you should eat. When you are hungry, you will eat. So in spiritual life, if you feel the need for a guidance, and if you find a competent guidance, then go in for it. That's all. If you can do without it, perfectly correct. God alone is the guru. He is there in the heart of all, Sri Ramakrishna said. But if you can't, there is no need of a false pride not to take advice or guidance from anybody. So you take a little guidance from a guru. That's the concept of the guru in Vedanta. Some people do have a guru, some people do not have. When you feel the need, then go in for it, that's all. Not at all compulsory. Yeah. Yes, please.
I'm very pleased to hear about the growing number of meetings and people that are interested in learning about Vedanta.
Yeah.
This has been happening in this country too. But my question is about actual transformation. Do you have any indication, even with all of the study groups and reading and so on, that there is indeed any growing transformation individually or collectively in spiritual consciousness?
Yeah.
And what are some ways you'd suggest to enhance this process itself?
What happens is, when you study a particular subject, especially you are interested in it, then you absorb something of it into your life. At least 10% of the people will get something of that within themselves. Some percolation will take place. That makes for a change in human life and behavior. And so, among many who study, some get the benefit of that study by that percolation of truth into themselves. And this is happening, increasing numbers, day by day. That's what I am seeing. Transformation of life itself, our whole aspect of life changes. I myself had a doubt whether these lectures are doing any good. One day, I had a wonderful experience. It was about 1950s when I was in Delhi. Thousands of people used to come to the lecture. I said, people come and go. Some people used to come and tell me they find only a little holiday mood in the lecture. They enjoy it and go away. There's no further interest in it. I was also thinking probably it may be so. So one day a man came. I want to meet you. He's a high intellectual, editor of an economic weekly or so at that time. He said, I want to meet you. I said, come morning 7 o'clock. I'm going away 8 o'clock to Japan. Please come. So he came. What's the matter? I have not seen you for a number of years. I have seen you once in Karachi for an hour. I told him. He said, no, every Sunday I come to hear your lecture. Is it so? Wonderful. I said, do you really benefit from these lectures? I asked this question. I said, some people come and say, people are not benefited. They come just to put some unction into their soul for all the wickedness they do. They come to lecture on Sunday and then go away. Absolutely wrong, he said. I know how many people come, serious-minded. They transform their life. They discuss the subject on the way back after the lecture, and in their work also they change their attitudes. It is a wonderful work you are doing, he said. I said, you have done me a great favor, that this is really useful and not merely a sort of holiday mood, sitting, speaking something and going away. No, he said it definitely is doing immense good to people, and this I found in Holland, Australia and Berlin and other places. It is definitely true, because this is a truth which is corrosive. Once you enter into it, whether you like it or not, it will corrode into your system. All that is evil must go. That's the nature of Vedantic truth. Swamiji Vivekananda said, Vedanta is a corrosive truth. It will enter into the system remove what is evil there. That is happening in the lives of increasing numbers of people. That is the situation today. Yeah. Then? No question. Huh? Yeah.
I have a request, and would you please tell us some of your remembrances of Swami Shivananda?
I have written in that book, Eternal Values for a Changing Society, a very brief and interesting article, Mahapurushji Shivananda as I saw him. I have given all that I have to say in that beautiful article, including some letters he wrote to me. They are also there, and that book is there in your library, Eternal Values. Yeah. The new edition has come in 4 volumes last month. That's also expanded. Many new ideas are there. So I can only say we were all happy to meet such a great soul. When I pass from my house to the ashrama to join, that is, this is Kerala, something like this California area of India, west coast, there to Mysore, interior, I was to go. On the way there is a town called Uttakaman, 6,000 feet high. It's a very cold, beautiful city it is. He was staying there. So I went to Uti to see him and to get initiation. So I got my initiation. Then I went to Mysore to join the order, to serve the cause of Sri Ramakrishna. Then after 4 years he gave me Brahmacharya initiation. He was sitting in front at that time. Then he gave sannyas in 33. He couldn't come, he was weak in the room. We went to his room for final blessing. And then that year he had a stroke. Next year he passed away. So I was in touch with him for about 7 years, in the course of which he wrote letters also to guide our spiritual life. Very rational-minded, extremely human, and very independent spirit. That was Swami Shivananda, a very holy person. And so there is a book called To the Seekers of God. A very inspiring book for spiritual life. That book contains his conversations, informal, the devotees who came to make pranams to him. Some of us also used to stand in his room early morning. Then he will be talking spontaneously on spiritual matters. Somebody took down. That is the book, To the Seekers of God. So if anybody tells him, Maharaj, I want your blessing, he will straight away answer, other than blessing, what else have we to give? We have nothing but blessing to give. He will say like that. That is the usual attitude of Swami Shivananda. He was very majestic, physically also, a fine personality, and of course, great holiness. He was given a title by Swami Vivekananda himself. Mahapurush means great soul. Mahapurush, great man, because of his tremendous spiritual qualities. That was Swami Shivananda. He died in 1934. He was the second president of the order. And for an interesting point, I can tell you that Indira Gandhi's mother was a disciple of Swami Shivananda. She also took initiation from Swami Shivananda. That is the story of Mahapurush Maharaj. Yes.
This morning in the lecture here, Swami Ranganathananda was speaking about Shankara's philosophy and the nature of Brahman not being inert. Well, it seems so easy to study the animal and the vegetable world with material science. What is the nature of this Brahman, which is neither manifest and can be studied by science, and is also not inert?
Because it is our own, one with our own self, it is not an object or an item which you can study. So it is described in the Kena Upanishad, unknown but realizable. In Kant, philosophy of German philosopher, the ultimate truth is unknown and unknowable. In Vedanta it is unknown but not unknowable, because it is our own self. What is more known than one's own self? So when you realize the self, you realize Brahman. That is how it is presented in Vedanta. It is not realized as something this and that, like table, chair, item among items, as an object. It is the eternal self. So realize Brahman as the self of yourself, as your own infinite self. That is the realization of Brahman. I am Brahman is the teaching which we realize as I am Brahman. You are Brahman. That means you are truly the self. And we realize it, I am Brahman. So it is an experience only. Intellectual formulation is difficult. It can be done, but a nearest approach. But they will always say, this is very, very inadequate. You must realize it for yourself. That is how the disciple is taught by the Guru in all the Vedantic books. Jati niti kula gotra duragam nama rupa gunadosha varjitam deshakala vishayati vartiyat brahma tattva bhavayatmani. The teacher is telling the student, you are that Brahman. Realize the truth for yourself. What kind of Brahman? Beyond name, beyond form, beyond causal relation, beyond relativity, beyond all these limitations. That is the infinite Brahman. That is your true nature. Realize it for yourself. That's what Sri Ramakrishna was taught by Totapuri. And he realized that Brahman in that state of samadhi, and he saw the same Brahman in the whole world itself. Brahman is everything, is the last word of Vedanta. The whole universe is Brahman, pure consciousness. Yeah.
Swami, is it possible for a person to get absolutely perfect internal renunciation before God realization?
Absolutely perfect in internal?
Internal
Renunciation. Before perfection, before becoming perfection.
Internal renunciation.
Yeah, to become perfect in internal renunciation.
Yeah.
Before getting this state.
Before spiritual realization, perfection cannot be applied to a person in the full sense of the term, because it is spiritual realization that makes for perfection. But in certain areas, we can perfect ourselves before realization also. But fullest realization is needed for the fullest perfection. He who is knower of Brahman becomes Brahman, becomes perfect. And we are on the way to perfection in all other levels of life. Realization is essential for perfection. That's the idea. Suppose in the Gita it is mentioned, I am an ascetic. I forsake all these external pressures and pleasures, etc. You can do so. But the Gita says, you are not perfect yet, because the tendency for the pleasure will remain in you until you realize the Atman. Once you realize it, all this will be burned away. That's called perfection. Here, through sheer effort of will, I keep away things. There, spontaneous, natural life comes to you. You are always free, always pure. There is no effort on your part. That is because you have realized Brahman. That is the language used in the Gita. Rasavarjam. You renounce everything, but a little tendency to enjoy remains with you. Rasa means that appetite, that tendency. But tatopi, even rasa also goes away. Param drushtva. When you realize the Supreme, all this rasa, this samskara, this tendency, all become burned away. You are perfectly free. So perfect freedom is perfection. That cannot come until we burn away all these samskaras, past and present, everything, in the fire of knowledge. The word is used as fire of knowledge. You burn a seed, then it won't sprout again. So that burning is necessary. What is the fire? Fire of knowledge. Jnana, Agni. Gita speaks of the fire of knowledge. So light the fire of knowledge. In fact, that is the theme of my lecture in Seattle. Gita's conception of knowledge as a fire. Jnana Agni. So I said there, our young people in America has got one good fire, especially that stomach fire. Can digest plenty of hamburgers and other things. That is very good. But the second fire, fire of knowledge, to digest all what you call traumatic experiences, all complex making experiences, that fire is very important, fire of knowledge, so that every day is fresh to you. There are no distortion in the psyche. That's very important. That is called the fire of knowledge, in which all actions are burned away. Nothing remains, no seed remains to make for any bondage. That is a wonderful teaching in Vedanta. When the Atman is realized, all actions are burned away. All tendencies and traumas are burned away. You become free. You become free. Until then, we have got some sort of imperfection, but we can somehow manage, that's all. Real perfection cannot come without that realization. Vidyate hridaya granthi is a famous verse in the Upanishad. When you realize the Atman, all the knots of the heart are cut asunder. Complexes of the heart are cut asunder. Chidyante sarva samshayaha. All the doubts in the mind will also go away. You can't start your spiritual life clearing all doubts. Some doubts you clear, but ultimately all doubts will go only when you realize the truth for yourself. So chidyante sarva samshayaha. Kshiyante chasya karmani. All actions and the subconscious tendencies all become burned away, destroyed away by that realization. That is the realization of the Atman according to Vedanta. It is open to all. Everybody has the right to realize this truth. That is how Vedanta places it as a universal message to all. This lighting the fire of knowledge is a remarkable idea for modern civilization, especially for our young people. If only they have that fire of knowledge, they won't get distorted by any kind of experiences, maybe very hard experiences. They won't be distorted at all. They can digest them. That's the nature of the stomach. Good fire of digestion. Take any food, it is digested. So you get stronger and stronger. If you don't digest the food, food becomes toxin to you. Diseases come to you. Similarly in the mind, if the knowledge fire is there, you can digest all experience. So when I spoke in Seattle, I said, they speak of trauma. What is this trauma? If you scold a child, it gets trauma. And all sorts of troubles come. It may even commit suicide. What does it show? Spiritual weakness. There is no strength at all. There is no inner fire at all. So only hamburger digesting fire is not enough. Experience digesting fire, that is spirituality. The fire of spirituality, that must come. We were people, young people, we had not this trauma in those days. I have received so many caning from my mother and brother, 12 caning sometimes. I just rub and sit down and smile as if nothing has happened. Why should trauma come? That is a wonderful question. So today everything is trauma. Everybody is subject to trauma. That shows we are spiritually very weak. Everything else is there. So this subject is very important. Jnana Agni. Light up the fire of spiritual knowledge in you. Then all these experiences will be burned away. And when you burn an experience, you take the energy into yourself. When you burn the food in the stomach, you take the energy of the food into your body, you become stronger. Similarly also, mental strength, spiritual strength comes only from digesting all experiences. That is an absolute possibility when we turn in that direction. Yes?
I have a question that I've read so many times about the predestination. The life is predestined. Sometimes we read that man proposes and God disposes.
Who says that?
I have read in some books, and also in Gita there is a...
Gita, no predestination is there. Nowhere in the books of India you will find predestination. But karma is there. Karma is not predestination. Karma is self-determination. You determine your own life. That's the meaning of karma. The other is kismat. In Arabic they call it kismat, fate. In Greek mythology you get plenty of fate. Fate, you know. All these Euripides and Sophocles, they are tragic dramas. They contain the element of fate. That fate strikes you and hero resists against the fate. That kind of fate theory comes there. But karma has nothing to do with fate. Karma is whatever actions you do produce a result externally and internally. The internal result is called karma. That goes on. acting and making you act in a particular way, and you can break them. You are the author, you can also create them, you can also destroy them.
So that luck or predestination, there is no such thing. Whatever we are struggling for, we get the result. Or whatever
Because unexplained things we call luck, that's all. But karma explains all actions, nothing without a cause. And the cause is what you did, that's all. As you sow, so you reap is a statement in the Bible itself. And Vivekananda said, theory of karma means eternal freedom of the man, spirit of man, to create his own life and destiny. That's the meaning of karma. You made this, you can unmake it and make it new. That freedom is yours. That is the real meaning of karma. We are the creators of our own destiny. We have no theory of the devil, in Vedanta. If you don't want karma, you must have the devil to explain all this. But devil is very devilish, you see. It has bedeviled preaching of religion for all these 2000 years. Now many theologians want to banish the devil from Christianity. There is more of devil than God in our preaching in the Christian religion. Today we want to abolish the devil. Then you must bring something else. That is karma theory.
Maharaj, I would like to talk about death and dying for just a minute. When we get to the old age, and we have been practicing Vedanta for 45 years or more, and so we know Vedantic ideas, and we have been practicing to some degree anyway, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and some of the other ideas. It's not a casual idea in our lives. Then when death approaches more closely, when we are 87 or 92 or whatever, and death is close by, there seems to be a clinging to the life. I don't want to go. You see, almost to the point of giving up the Vedantic practice. And in more than one case it happens. And so I'm wondering, as a kind of newcomer to Vedanta, is this something that I can expect? But no matter how much I practice Vedanta now, I have to somehow be prepared at death that I may be clinging on to life. That the Vedantic practices at the last moments may not be in my conscious effort.
You are right. It's a very important question. Generally, from Greco-Roman times, in the West, there was so little understanding of the phenomenon called death. We knew only about life in the West. There is a famous writer, Lowes Dickinson, Englishman. He has written a book called The Greek View of Life. There he writes there, the Greeks were deeply interested in life. They enjoyed every aspect of life. When death came, they were unreconciled. They didn't know the meaning of death at all. That was the weakness of Greek philosophy of life. That continues to modern Western people also. We have inherited from the Greeks the whole concept of life alone is true, not death. But the truth is, life and death are two aspects of the same reality. That is what Vedanta teaches. Yasya chaya amritam, yasya mrityuhu. In the Rig Veda you find reality is that of which one shadow is life, another shadow is death. Both are there. You can't understand life till you understand death. See the philosophy. No philosophy can be deep without understanding nature of death. So in Greek philosophy, this experience was not there. Not entirely correct. One person in Greek philosophy knew the meaning of death. That was Socrates. He knew the meaning of death exactly as the Indian sages. So when you study Plato's dialogues, you find one episode narrated by Plato. Socrates is to face death. He is to drink poison. Everybody is weeping. Women were weeping. He told them, I want to die in peace. You please go outside and weep. So women went. The men also started weeping, young students. They also started. He chided them. I sent the ladies away thinking I can die in peace. But you boys also are weeping. Then they became quiet. Then a conversation ensued. This man who is going to die is the most peaceful man in that room. Something very interesting. Then one disciple asked Socrates a question. Now this whole episode, we can treat it as a chapter in any Upanishad. But in Greek literature, it has no place. They can't understand this subject. One disciple called Crito, he was a friend of Socrates. He asked Socrates a question. Socrates, how shall we bury you? He is not yet dead, he is still alive, but he is asking this prospective question. How shall we bury you? Socrates smiled at that question. Then he said, be of good cheer, Crito. You asked this question about this body. As to the body, do with it as you do with other people. But if you want to bury me, you must catch me, the real me, that you cannot catch. See, like this is Upanishad. The real me you cannot catch. It has no death. It is ever there. The Atman is ever there. No weapons can cut, no fire can burn, no air can dry. The Gita describes the nature of the Atman. Now this truth is taught in India from very ancient times. We are not the body, we are the Atman. We have a body as an external covering. So death means removal of that covering. A pillowcase is removed, pillow remains, as we put it like that. So Socrates understood this truth. So he faced death with a courage which we have never seen in Greek history. This is one lesson we must learn. Today when we study Vedanta, if we are really understanding the truth, then you will say, yes, life means death. What else is life except racing against death? But death is finally what wins. That's the truth about it. It is better that we know. And so we face death with courage. Yes, it has to come. Not that we are going to commit suicide. Life will continue. We will correct ourselves. If there is sickness, we will take a doctor and have medicine. Now Shankaracharya or Ramakrishna, they allowed themselves to be treated when they were sick. Therefore there is no question of a pathological condition, I want to die. There is no such thing. We will have life in this body, but one day it will end. And we know that we are eternal. There is no death for the soul. When this knowledge is deep in us, then we can react to death in a particular way. I have seen a few cases of devotees, how they face death. There was a lady in Delhi, beautiful work she was doing. All on a sudden, it was discovered she is having cancer. She was treated in Switzerland, went to Bombay for treatment, then it was beyond cure. Then what happened is a wonderful story. She was lying down, there was a picture of Sri Ramakrishna on the wall. Her husband and relatives were in the room talking with her. Then, after some time, can you bring that picture? They brought it and gave it to her. Then, will you please go to the next room? I want to be alone. They all went, closed the door. She took the picture, did like this, and just died. When they turned back to the room, she is dead. And the husband said, I felt I am in a shrine room. This whole house became a shrine. This is not ordinary death. This is the way. She died thinking of Sri Ramakrishna, full of joy. The body is gone, finished. Now, such deaths are there. Many cases are there of this kind of death, what they call triumph over death. This was a teaching in Christianity also. In the St. Paul's sayings you will find there, then shall we experience that state when we shall be able to say, O grave, where are thy treasures? O death, where is thy sting? That state will come. It was expressed in Paul's teaching, but slowly it was forgotten. Western culture is entirely based upon the body. I am essentially the body. That's why we have got everything to sweeten the body, brighten the body, and all the manufacturing things are coming only for the body. For the soul there is so little manufacture. For the mind also very little. You see, yesterday I was telling in the lecture, a magazine, Newsweek or so I read, or the Northwest Air magazine in the aeroplane, saying people have got now a new craze. We must have good bathrooms. Now a whole article has come. Golden seat for the toilet and huge bath with whirlpool in it, very costly, because that's the way to enjoy life. There's language used there. So people are now having that kind of bathroom and big advertisements are coming and all that. Why is it so? Body is the center of all attention. How to make it nicer, nicer. Vivekananda used to say, it is like putting roses on a dead body. One day it will stink. We forget that truth. To some extent, we can care for the body. Beyond that, it is absolute obsession. That obsession is there in today's civilization. And till that obsession goes away, we cannot understand our true nature. I am the Atman. I have a body, but I am not the body. That knowledge has to come, but it has not come because of this materialistic civilization. Vedanta comes in, it teaches us this truth. If you really understand that truth, we get reconciled to that last experience called death. Until then, we may learn all these things. We say, when Ramakrishna is saying, you teach a parrot to say Rama, 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 God's name. He will say all that. But as soon as the cat catches hold of it, caw, caw, he will say. He forgets all Rama at that time. So we are all like that. Until the thing, what you call, sinks down, yes, I am not the body. I am a child of the divine. That is my inheritance. Then like Socrates, we shall be able to say, yes, I welcome you. You have come, here am I ready. Don't try to squeeze me out. That attitude will come. You welcome death like a brother. This is the language used by Vivekananda in his lecture on My Master in New York. Welcome death like a brother. That attitude will come. With a smile, you will go. That's a language. We had a great sage in India by name Tulsidas. His Ramayana is popular. 200 million people study that book. Many have memorized that book. Tulsidas Ramayana. 16th century saint. He had a saying, and I like all our children in America also hear that saying. He said, telling himself, Tulasi, when you were born, you were crying and the world were full of smiling and joy. And when you die, live such a life, you will laugh and go away, the world will weep for you. That is the best thing that we can do. You came crying, you go smiling, leaving the world in sorrow. Why? This great man has gone. So live a life and then go away. That's a beautiful sentiment for us. So in the Gita it is written, at the time of God, at the time of death, repeat the Lord's name. People sing bhajan whenever people die. That's what we do, just to keep that God consciousness alive, so that the mind is peaceful. Mind, we leave the body in a peaceful state of mind and a sense of joy. That is, but that means attachment to the world must become less and less. That is very important. Attachment to the world itself is called death. That is death. This is triumphant over death. That's the idea. This is blind attachment is death. That's the language of the Upanishads. Yeah. Yeah. Now there will be that film, very educative film.
You saw in Swami Ranganathananda's Vedanta that the importance of this film, and that is done by a BBC commentator. He himself was an ex-monk who did informal, which is his name. That book is there. See, your faith is a book. Based on the book, this is done. I saw the book in Berkeley Vedanta Society. I just passed through it. I found the film is better than the book. Right, firstly. So in 45 minutes, the whole book you have seen. A good education and inspiration. And he was a very broad-minded person.
How he was presenting things. Very fine. He's an ex-monk. So you can spend some time more, because I have got time. We can, now it is 6:10. What time we have to leave here? Swami, where is Swami has gone out. We will come back. Anyway, so long as he is out, the problem remains pending, we can go on.
Any question?
Any clarification or anything?
Any question?
Sorry, this this fusion of mysticism and humanism, two powerful religions in the world today, Islam and Christianity, both have a very strong history of persecuting mysticism. How do you think they would accept easily this fusion?
They will.
Deny totally mysticism.
See, you don't expect them to remain the same as it is. These are all occasional outbursts. The present, what you call fundamentalist reaction in Iran, for example, it's not going to be long there. It will change. Questioning will come. Questioning that afflicted Europe and America will afflict Islam and other orthodox religions also. Younger generation will come. They will question. They can't remain long in this condition. Then only they will turn to this kind of thing. Till then it will continue. In India, they are bound to question because of the Hindu environment. Already they have started. Even the women, Muslim women have started questioning. So give time. Let people ask questions, and nobody can persecute them in the Indian context. No Muslim mystic can be harmed by anybody there. In Islamic countries they may do, but not in India. And India has the second largest Muslim population in the world. So what happens there will affect elsewhere also. There will be a big counter-revolution in Iran. This is like a frenzy. When you are in a fit, you are all full of energy. After that you become tired. Then you go back to another type of frenzy. So here Iran is passing through that. Islamic world itself is passing through a tremendous thought ferment. That old values will have to go. They want to preserve every letter of the old tradition. That cannot. It won't be possible. As Christianity has already experienced, it takes longer time for Islam. It's a more close religion. But it will invade it also. Hinduism, it has already invaded long ago. There's such freedom is there. The only religion where mystics are honored and not hanged is Hinduism. We don't respect a priest, we respect a mystic. That is Hindu tradition. This Baha'ism is very strong in America. Chicago is their headquarters. But their guru was murdered last century in Iran. Now they are being persecuted terribly the last 3 years, 4 years in Iran. A few Baha'is are there. One day a TV coverage came of the tremendous persecution of Baha'is in Iran. I saw it in Holland. But they are winning everywhere. In India they are free, they are preaching. Australia I saw them working. How long we have time here? What time we have to go?
15 minutes.
6:15. 6:30. 6:45.
6:30, 6:45.
ಊಟ ಅಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ.
So ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಾದರೂ ಕಾಲ ಕಳೆಯೋದು.
And so, these are all code languages, you won't understand. Kannada, famous language of South India, Kannada.
So you can speak a few words and then once
Yeah.
then the conclusion.
Yeah. When you get fed up with questions, then you shall have to give something else.
What do you see?
Yeah? Yeah.
Did you visit the USSR?
Where?
Did you visit Russia?
Yes, yes. 9 days I was in Russia, in the Indian embassy. Then another 5 days I was in Indian embassy, speaking in the Moscow State University and Institute of Oriental Studies. Open, without any gagging, you see. freely I could speak, answer questions. They don't suspect India, India is very innocent. It has no evil intention against any country, against any religion. And I think the Marxists understand it. So I used to tell them, India has no Trojan horse policy. You know Trojan horse story? How Troy was conquered through a wooden horse, we're putting some soldiers inside, that was let in, and they conquered Troy. So Trojan horse they call it. We have no Trojan horse. Everything is open. Something amazing, huh?
Swami, today you spoke about the fact that in this country we understand better the second commandment rather than the first of Christ. In this film it spoke of humanism and mysticism. Do you see Swamiji's work in this country as coming through this humanistic approach?
America is essentially humanistic. The religious intolerance of America was directly in opposition to the American tradition of liberality and freedom. That's why when Swamiji came and preached that liberal idea of religion, Americans accepted. Various sections of people accepted that. Otherwise, religion in America was very narrow, sectarian. But politics is democratic, based on freedom. So these two did not coincide. So they were in search for something better. And that came at that time. That's why the whole Parliament of Religion responded to Swamiji's message of a universal type of religion. There are so many studies going on now. One is by a MIT scientist, speaks of the civil religion of America. America is a civil religion, not merely various Christian sects or Judaic sects, etc., but a civil religion. That religion is universal. That religion you will find when a president is appointed in America, he takes a vow and he gives a speech. He invokes God there, but not any Christian God or a Jewish God, but a universal concept of the divine. You will find that. So America is religious, but not denominational, from the political point of view. Not a single presidential speech will refer to the Christian God, mind you. So that scientist calls it American civil religion. It is more Vedantic. It comprehends all the citizens of America, all the religions of America. That is the beginning of a civil religion, he calls it, without any mystical element. And Vedanta is similar to that, plus it has a mystical element. That's how a convergence of this common denominator of American civil religion and the Vedantic idea will take place here. And denominational religions will become broadened. At present, they are slightly broadened, but not much. A fullest broadening will come in course of time. After all, new generations are coming. How long can fundamentalism last? Europe also, tremendous changes are coming. We are passing through a revolutionary transition in ideas and values. So there's a big cauldron, put everything in it, and something will be cooking there. The final cooking will take place according to the forces or ingredients that are put there. So the Eastern ingredient will be very strong. Original Christianity was an Eastern religion. Christianity was Europeanized by Rome, a Roman tradition. See that? When Christianity was established in Rome, Roman civilization swallowed Christianity. The pure Eastern element in Christianity was removed. That's what you can see in history there. Eastern religions are more accommodative.
What do you think then is the reason for a return to fundamentalism in the world today?
Fundamentalism.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason is this: the modern materialism and also atheism. This has created a reaction in religion. That reaction has taken the form of fundamentalism, Christianity here, fundamentalism, Islam there. And there it has taken a political overturn, as you saw in the film. Violence, hatred, this and that. That is the reaction. In India, we had a reaction when Western culture went there along with the British occupation. But very soon a balance came. That you get in Swami Vivekananda. No anti-West, no anti-anything. Everything pro, what they call positive attitude. That maturity India got through Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji. Other countries have not got that maturity yet. So always you will find going one extreme to the other, either atheism or fundamentalism, nothing in between. Even in our colleges today, we are forced to teach fundamentalist creation, biblical creation, along with evolution. You can't think of that in India. We accept evolution, we accept science. We don't put any kind of anti-scientific idea of creation against scientific theory. Nobody thinks of it there. But here it is going on. So everything is extreme and one is replaced by the other. Just like in European history you will find democracy, dictatorship going on, alternating in various countries there. We don't have that kind of alteration or going to extreme. All the teaching is there, the middle path, the middle path. Buddha taught it, Gita taught it. All Indian wisdom says, take the middle path. The extremes are not at all good, and they all come because of one replacing the other due to extremism going too far extreme. We have been taught to do the middle path. We accept this, we accept that. We say, acceptance is the ideology of Swami Vivekananda. Western culture is accepted. That's why even after freedom, India continued to be in the British Commonwealth. A common Commonwealth, you see. Nowhere else it has taken place. In spite of so much of oppression, India did not say, we want to break away from you. We shall live with you, work together. There's a very, very strange attitude. Here in America, after independence 1776, for the next 150 years, there was a tremendous anti-British feeling, and in Britain, anti-American feeling. They hated everything American in England. Here also they hated the British. Americans turned to often Germany and other places, France for culture, avoiding England if possible. That's the language here. But we never had that difficulty. Though Britain ruled 200 years over India, did a lot of oppression, sucked so much blood from India, but when freedom came, we forgot all that thing. We are one with you. Commonwealth continued. If India is not there, there will be no Commonwealth. Because India was there, Commonwealth continued. The British Commonwealth as we call it today. Churchill was terribly anti-Indian. But when he heard, after freedom, Jawaharlal Nehru has accepted to remain in the Commonwealth, it is written there, tears came from his eyes. What a wonderful thing. We have done so much harm to them. Still he is thinking in this way. That's the nature of that relationship. So in religion also it is the same. Land of harmony, that is India. If it is not so now, it's because our ideas are not current coin now. So many other ideas are there. We have to educate the nation in our own ideas. That will come the next few decades. And Ramakrishna, Vivekananda ideas are spreading all over India. Hatred to the West can never come to India. The real appreciation is there. So Romarola has written in Life of Vivekananda, the last page you take, I tell my European friends, Vivekananda is building a tunnel to unite East with the West. You start on your side so that they can meet together. This is the language he has used. So Swamiji is remembered as the one who harmonized East and West. He himself was the embodied unity of East and West. And we all accept that idea. I don't find anything anti-West in all over India. But all these countries full of that anti-West. Go to Iran and all these Islamic countries, so much of anti-West. And some of the West also is anti-this and anti-that. All the missionaries in India, in America and Europe are all anti. That is the type of people who will be replaced by another set of people who understand this human approach, that humanism comes there. Humanism is not related to any nation. It is mankind awareness. That is a trend of modern development. Swamiji represented that spirit, humanistic spirit. My Russian lecture was on Vivekananda's humanism. They liked that idea. Universal, yes?
Swamiji, I've heard your thoughts on the Gita and on the Upanishads. I want to change the topic a little bit. What is the responsibility of some of us more fortunate people towards our less fortunate people? Coming from a country like India, we see a lot of that. What are the teachings of that?
First of all, develop that attitude that we all belong, that the poor and the backward are my own, flesh and blood. That feeling must come intensely, that you get from Vivekananda literature. Then, based on that feeling, according to one's strength, we try to help the people who are there. Such people are there in Africa also. Everywhere there are people who are in need. So we just share whatever is surplus with us, with the people, and mentally feel oneness with them. Not a superiority attitude, that class-conscious attitude. Then this will be spirituality and humanism in one. We can't take all the burdens of the world on our shoulder. It is very small. So we say whatever we can, we do. That's all. But mental prayer can go on for the good of all. A wave of friendship to be sent to all. That's one of the important subjects of meditation in yoga and Buddha's teaching. Maitri Bhavana. Early morning, sit in meditation. Send a wave of friendship and love to the whole world. What a beautiful idea it is. From everybody doing this, the whole world will be transformed. Vivekananda referred to this and said, at present, we send waves of hatred towards the world. We send bombshells of hatred towards the world. That should change. We must send great waves of love, of friendship. So that is called Maitri Bhavana, meditation on friendship in Buddhistic and yoga psychology. Without actually doing, this itself will do wonderful thing. You create an atmosphere, a thought atmosphere of unity and harmony. That's very important. Doing is second, thinking and feeling is first.
So friends, I'm very much thankful to all of you to come and listen to Swamiji. And my special request to Swamiji in future, whenever he comes this area, he should keep some time for us. Thank you. And as Swami has told, that tomorrow he'll be going to St. Louis and he'll follow other programs. And you can meet the Swami again.
Yeah. Very good, very wonderful time. I always enjoy my visit to San Francisco, Berkeley and Sacramento. So Sacramento I did yesterday, and so I go with all these good wishes from all of you. It will be like a booster rocket for me.